Okay, friends, how we doing? Thursday night. I know it's kind of fucking crazy. I'm on here 3 nights in a row, but I uh, I wanted to fill you guys in on a little bit, and I had a couple of minor announcements to make that I thought you guys might be interested in, and I thought I might share with you. And our friend John from Tuesday night followed up with a very long email explaining things, I guess, as best as he could, considering that uh, when I went over his first email on Tuesday, I it was very short. I didn't have a lot to go on. Hey, Penguin. Um, it was very short, and I didn't have a lot to go on. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to read the first email again, and then I'm going to follow it up with some explanation that he gave, which gives a different perspective. And the reason why I'm doing this is, there was a there was a lot of room for presumption with how he explained things on Tuesday, and I don't. I think it's fair to him to give him this chance to explain himself. He took the time to write this very long email. Um, Now it won't be that long to read out loud, so I don't want to make everybody think like, "Oh my God, this is gonna take all fucking night." But no, it's not. It's just it's as thorough and it's as brief as being this thorough to explain himself can be, is the way that I'm taking it. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about this stuff a little bit more. I don't really know how much more input I'm gonna have on it, but we're just gonna see where this takes us. But I really wanted to give John the opportunity to elaborate on his situation more, just out of the sake of fairness. So um, let me go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and read that first one, if I can find it. Okay, so John said, uh, well, hold on. Let me put that off for a second. I'm gonna just start off a little lightheartedly here. I'm gonna make a couple of little announcements. I I've gotten really I've gotten really fond of my listeners over the past few weeks. I always was, but I've the last couple of weeks I've grown very fond of everyone, and I'm feeling a lot of gratitude, which in turn is giving me, if I'm being completely honest and naked out here, is giving me a little bit more confidence too, and has kind of gotten me a little bit more excited about what I'm doing here. So, what I'm going to do, um, I talked a little bit about a case that I wanted to cover. I know that I've said that this is not a true crime channel. I still stand by that, but it must be acknowledged that uh, the vast majority of my listeners are true crime enthusiasts. This is where we all met each other in the first place. I happen to be one myself, and um, so these stories very much interest me, and they interest you. I just did not want to go that route because there are already so many that we all listen to, and I think there's enough of that covered for the most part. But it is an interesting subject. I just did not want to make it the main theme of this channel. So, um, I have said that before, but having said that, there is a case that I'm going to cover, and I really think that it's going to blow your mind when you hear how fucked up it is. And it's not even fucked up in like a gory kind of way. It's fucked up in like a really just low moral. It's there's just crazy shit going on with it. And this actually happened, and um, I am going to be interviewing after I cover the case. I'm going to be interviewing a key person involved in that case, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like anything you've ever heard here on YouTube. Um, so, um, and no, Penguin, it is not the Watts case. I promise you that. This is something much different, um, and uh, and a bit more. What do I want to say? How do I describe this properly? Man, that's um, there's some twists and turns here, and there's a lot of injustice. There's a lot of really low, below the belt stuff, and and it's going to be yeah, it's pretty gross. I mean, not gross in a gory way. It's just gross that people can do these things to other people. But we're gonna go over all of that stuff, and I'm I had this idea for a while now, and I'm more excited um, about it now. I guess I'm just you know about the whole entire idea of covering this thing and talking about it and interviewing this person. So I'm really excited about sharing that with you guys. Um, Another thing is I have been talking to a couple of people and a couple of coworkers, and I, for the first time in my adult life since I dropped out of college in the first semester, which was 25 years ago at least, uh, I'm thinking about going back to school. I'm seriously thinking about it. I'm considering it, and what brought it on was I have a coworker, and uh, she's she's young. She just graduated junior college and just got accepted into UT, and she is really interested in crime and everything about it. So she is trying to become a police officer. She didn't make it, unfortunately, um, because she failed one thing in the physical thing. So I don't know. She's gonna have to do something. She's a very petite girl, extremely petite, and she was supposed to pull a dummy uh, around a corner or something, and she tripped. Her foot got caught underneath the dummy, and she tripped, and they failed her. But she's extremely intelligent. She's very kind, and so we have great conversation because she will have to write a paper for school, and then she'll stop me on my way into the door for work, and she'll stop me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this subject right here? What are your thoughts on this?" And it'll be something random like, is exposure to pornography related to increased rates of rape? You know, and so I'm like, uh, and so we get into this deep conversation over these subjects, and basically they're topics that she has to write papers for, um, in her uh, criminal justice class, and I'm considering. And it's only just a thought because I haven't made any decisions yet. But I'm actually considering getting a degree in criminology. Um, so I thought you guys might like that. I mean, this is kind of a video blog here, uh, and I think it's cool to share the fact that I'm thinking about this and kind of have it documented here and share it with you guys. So, um, but I really want to make the decision and do it. I want to. I'm so scared of school, man. I'm so fucking scared of school. I was a terrible student in school, but the thing is I'm nothing near the person I used to be back then. So maybe school will be different for me now, you know? So this is the stuff I'm thinking about right now. This is the stuff going through my mind. And I wouldn't say that I'm struggling with it. I'm playing with it. I'm playing with it, thinking about it. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. But anyway, back to John here. Okay, so Uh, John wrote on Tuesday that a lot of you were listening to. He wrote, "I am a lurker and I have listened to most of your lives. Will, you're asking people to email on the video called Meth Gator, which is another one of my dumb titles for one of the other ones." And he says, "I'm a guy, 47, married 23 years. We have two kids, 10 and 18. 6 months ago, I met a woman who is 42. She lives across the country. We stay in contact near constantly, and a month ago she flew out to me and we spent 5 days together. I am seriously considering having her move here to try out a secret relationship for a year or two before deciding if I want to leave my wife. She is less educated and makes far less money than my wife. I'm not educated beyond a little college. However, our connection is absolutely undeniable. A connection that my wife and I never had. If I leave my wife, I would basically be starting all over again. Apartment and two people working okay paying jobs, trying to figure out how to save for a house and time to visit with my kids. So I'm at a crossroads in life, about to make a life altering decision. I respect the way you look at life and I'm curious of your opinion. Thanks, John." So that was the email he sent Tuesday. I talked extensively about what I got out of this email. So if you want to know that stuff, you're gonna have to listen to that one. But I'm gonna go ahead and read the rest of this. Okay, so bear with me. Um, Hi, Will. Thanks for giving your thoughts last night based on the limited info I sent. I thought it would be beneficial to fill in some blanks, and also you seem to enjoy the topic and the email. Maybe this will give you some more info to make a part 2 live. Well, I don't know if I want to make this an entire part 2, but we will see what happens. Um, the girlfriend. She is totally willing and ready to move across the country. I'm not presuming. Okay, when he says the girlfriend, I want to be clear, and just in case people didn't pick up on that, he's talking about the girlfriend that spent 5 days with him. So his description of her is that she is totally willing and ready to move across the country. I'm not presuming that. She knows that I would want 1 to 2 years to decide if I'm going to leave or not. I've made no guarantees. She is a driver, so it doesn't matter where she lives. As a matter of fact, gas is way cheaper where I live, and rent is too. She actually initiated this relationship. I did not try to end it a few times, but I couldn't. Or I did try to end it a few times, but I couldn't. As time has gone by, I've fallen more in love with her. She is a 20-year-old daughter that is thriving fine, and her mother has remarried since the father left when she was 2. She's always had rocky relationship with her mother and is probably looking forward to being further from her, unless her mother gets ill. She is a great girl, hard worker, fun, and bubbly personality, quite a bit ditzy. And yes, like you were wondering, she is extremely sexual. She's deeply in love with me, she says, and more than willing to risk me not being able to pull through, especially since she initiated this. All right, so yeah, um, man. So your thing with this girl, I get it. Okay, so this girl, I get that she's willing to do this stuff, and it was probably her idea, right? But what I'm getting out of this so far is that actually, I'll hold off on that. But uh, it making this point, let me read about your wife here real quick. So before I get into your girlfriend, let's hear about your wife. So my wife is extremely book smart, holds a master's degree in finance, and is making good money. We own a house that is 70% paid off. Over the years, it's really bothered me that I've told her we have a functioning relationship only. There's very little affection. Sex is mechanical and rushed. She is just not the sexual type. I've asked her, is there anything I can do? She always said, nope, I'm happy. She has what I call Dr. Spock personality. Okay. Uh, all logic and intelligence, some emotion. Got it. Um, she is a good wife, actually, in the practical sense. She takes care of things that need to get done and does things for me. She's a good mother, although very overindulgent with our kids. She buys them what they want without earning it and lets them eat garbage and sugar and carbs as much as they want, which I completely disagree with. And speaking of that topic, she's gotten really comfortable and gained a life-threatening amount of weight. At 49, I see a stroke or fatal heart attack coming down the line. Then what? Four question marks. Every time I bring up the food she eats and gives to the kids, she buries her head in the sand. She watches food shows. She's addicted. We all eat separately because of this. Maybe some depression there. She and I don't fight or argue. It's just all become dull, repetitive, and functioning only. Way before this girl came along. All right. Um. So as I was gonna say, okay, this is why I'll talk about the girlfriend in a minute, but this can't be overlooked. This can't be overlooked with any delay here. There's a lot here, John, indicating to me, reading this, that you and your wife just simply aren't in love. I mean, you know, that's what that sounds like to me. Now, the girlfriend, the girlfriend, she's, it sounds to me like it sounds to me like if the wind blows the right way and she looks at you at the same time the right way, that you would marry her at the drop of a hat because of how fucking bored you are in contrast. So that's what I think. Personally, based on what you wrote here, that's what I think. You're just simply not even remotely attracted to your wife, and it's almost fair to say you're even possibly disgusted by her, just by the way that you describe what she says, and you do it. I can feel the contempt for her as I read this. Um, and I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming you at all for your feelings. I don't live there. I don't know. But you probably have very good reason for feeling this way. There's a lot of people get married and then they pick up certain habits, or they just overlook habits that they had. you know But it sounds to me like whatever you guys, however you guys got together or whatever, either you knew that this was going to be what marriage was going to be like 23 years down the road and you were okay with it at one point, or you never saw this shit coming, right? You never fucking saw this shit coming. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm thinking it boils down to the fact that you're simply just unhappy, right? You're unhappy and you didn't expect to be at some point. You at this point, you didn't expect to be, and you got to do something about it. Now's the time to acknowledge the fact that you're unhappy, and then take whatever measures you need to take to make yourself happy. Because if I'm your wife and I know that this is how you actually feel about me and this is what you think, you know, either I'm going to be like, well, I don't want to be with somebody who feels this way about me or looks at me in this way, you know? And she's not doing it maliciously, and you know that. It's just something you're just simply not attracted to anymore. That's all it is, you know, on any level, really. You acknowledge her. I noticed that you took the time to acknowledge her strengths and the things that you do have gratitude towards her for. Um, but a lot of that also just came off as a paragraph that equals to an excuse to justify being with this other girl. You know, sounds like you're just listing excuses to go be with this other girl at the same time. I'm not saying that's all that is, but the fact of the matter is, it's definitely an excuse to take steps towards making yourself happy. If these things are true, and you feel, and even if they're not, it doesn't even fucking matter. If even if they're not true, it doesn't change the fact that you obviously feel this way about this person who is your wife. So eh, that doesn't sound fair to anybody, you know, to stay with somebody. I'm not telling you to leave, but I'm telling you if you're okay with leaving, because you're sitting there telling me that the picture you're painting in the first email is you want to see her for 1 to 2 years while you're still married to your wife. You know what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm getting at with this right now? So I think I think that you need to acknowledge the fact that you're unhappy before you start focusing on ways to make yourself happy to mask your unhappiness, not fix your unhappiness. What you're trying to do is 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 escape from your is go towards a new happiness, but you're willing to keep your unhappiness as a failsafe in case the other happy doesn't work out. I think that's kind of crazy, my man. You know, seriously, because you're cheating yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're cheating your fucking self. Now, whatever, dude. If you want to stay with your wife, if you want to, if you think that you can live with that lack of happiness and settle for a little bit of happiness, then that's cool. You know. Now, there's other stuff on here. You explained about your kids, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Hey, Mignon. Um, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not totally sure it's even necessary to go into the details on the kids, um, because I think it's irrelevant. You know, I think it's irrelevant. Now, skip to the part because as far as the kids go, all right. As far as the kids go, let me explain that a little bit better. as far as the kids go, in your 18-year-old son's complicated situation, um, you know, these are also not reasons to stay in a situation that makes you unhappy. There are ways to deal with this. There are very logical and rational legal procedures to go through to to take the steps to do this. Now, if it's worth it to you to have to avoid all of these procedures and just stay with your wife, then that's cool too, man. You know, no judgment there at all. The point is, if you ask me anything, I'm always going to come to what's going to make you happy, my man. What's going to make you happy where everybody's okay, you know? Where everybody turns out all right. Where your conscience is clear. So you don't really need to fuck anybody over. You know what I mean? You just what's going to make you happy where everybody kind of gets what's best for everybody, you know? And makes it easier for everybody to just live and let live, right? So I, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, uh, okay, before I continue, can you guys? Okay, I'm looking at something here. Can you guys see the normal backdrop that I have, uh, or are you seeing something that says "Please stand by" and over black? Um, because yeah, and I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. And uh, okay, cool. All right. So anyway, yeah, I really, honestly, genuinely believe, man, that when it comes to the situation with your son, you can figure everything out. Everything can, she you said she was logical, right? That's that's awesome. She's probably rational too. Let me tell you something, man. That's a fucking bonus. You know, the only thing that sucks here is your your the the legalities of everything. You talked about how you visited and or you got a consultation, a first free consultation from a divorce lawyer. And here's the thing about divorces, right? The fucking thing about divorces is that they involve lawyers. Okay? Lawyers are fucking bloodsuckers, man. And it sucks to have to deal with lawyers. And I totally fucking feel you, man. I totally feel you. Um, you're saying that you met with an attorney for a free consultation, 5 grand down, talking about suing. Oh yeah, 5 grand down, talking about suing my wife for half of her 401k, and you said no, demanding half the equity being bought out by her if she wants the house. Just very involved. I would have to pay child support on my younger son, but she would have to pay spousal maintenance. Wants to pool credit reports, all kinds of shit. So yeah, so this guy's basically saying that he wants you to go to fucking war with a woman who you've already described as logical and I think rational too. You said she was very little emotion. So I'm guessing that there's a lot of rationality there in her behavior. And that's something that I see can be very frustrating in a marriage, but in a divorce, my man, let me tell you, dude, in theory, I'm guessing that that shit is fucking beautiful. So I get that you don't want to. I'm getting that you don't want to fuck her over in any way, and I love that. I fucking love that. And you got a consultation from a lawyer, and this fucking lawyer gave you all these options. But the one thing to always remember, and I'm not telling you this because I think you're stupid, because I think you already know this. I just want to know that me, you, and my listeners are all on the same page when we all know that this guy is basically just giving you options that are going to ensure that he gets paid. That's it. So he's telling you to drag her through the mud so that he can get paid. At the end of the day, he's covering his bases. Okay? So fuck lawyers. If you have the option, if you have the option, dude, to settle things with her and talk things over in a logical and rational manner, then dude, you got a fucking blessing. You got an easy thing on a silver platter, right? What's up, AJ? And I think I think it's fair to everyone. I'm not telling you to tell your wife about your girlfriend. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But regardless of all the shit that she's doing, and regardless of how cold she is, and regardless of all that shit, I do still say that you owe it to her to let her know how you feel and where you're at. And I'm sure you probably have. But I'm talking about get to a point where you say, dude, babe, I am I need we need to do something now. Something has to happen now, right? And if you don't want to work it out with her, then be straight up with her and tell her, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore." You know? You got to be straight up cuz she doesn't seem like the way you describe her, she doesn't seem like the type of person that's, you know, you got that's going to appreciate you beating around the bush about it. So I mean, uh, you know, you know her better than I do. I'm just saying, based on the way that you're describing her to me, that's probably how I would be looking at the situation right now. But I mean, it's impossible for me to put myself in your shoes, really, you know? Like, so I really, really, I really, really believe that based on the things that you're telling me, a very civil, probably very tedious process um, can take place to get a solution for everyone here. And it's going to take time. I mean, the bottom line is, dude, if you've got a good relationship with your kids and you at least get along with your wife, then you guys are going to have to deal with each other forever. So you might as well just learn how, you know? It's just a question of do you want to do it together? Do you want to be happy as a couple? But the bottom line is you're both parents to these children. And it doesn't change the older it doesn't really change just because they grow up. So the fact of the matter is, you're always going to be co-parents to these children. So I feel like it's time to nut up and figure out a way to coexist. You just adapt to the situation and fucking move forward. It's all you can do, you know? There's no way out of it. As far as the girlfriend goes, man, honestly, I don't have any advice to give you on that. I don't have any fucking advice to give you on that. You know, uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't think one way or the other about the fact that you have a girlfriend. Because I don't think that that's the issue here. I don't think that that's where the problem is. You know, I think that's just a slightly complicated situation that's making a very complicated situation even more complicated. That's what I think. So, I mean, dude, I I really, really, I really do wish you the best, man. But yeah, there's I do appreciate the long email, you know. I don't want to. The reason why I'm not going over everything involving the kids is because I don't feel that it's absolutely um, vital to telling this. I didn't think the word necessary really covered how I felt about how I wanted to describe uh, the severity. I don't think that it's. I don't think it's vital to getting the point across, or even focusing on what the real issue here is, because those aren't the real issues. Those are, the way that you describe that to me, it sounds to me like you're willing to do whatever it takes for your kids. You know, both of them. You're willing to do it's a no-brainer. You didn't even feel the need to elaborate on it. You didn't feel the need to justify anything. I didn't get that vibe. I felt like no matter what, you're gonna figure shit out with your kids and make sure that that works out, and that's cool. That's awesome. So I don't feel the need to put the kids' business out there. So you know, I trust. You seem like a really really smart guy, and I trust that you'll do the right thing. Um, but yeah, man. Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of contempt for their mom, and you shouldn't have to live with all that contempt. Nobody should. That's a lot to carry. That's a lot of shit to carry around, my man. Um, so yeah, I would I would shed myself of that. I remember there was this guy. There was this guy. Um, his name was Wayne Dyer. He died a few years ago, and he was this motivational speaker type guy. He sold a lot of books, a lot of self-help books, things like that, and I bought into some of it. You know what I mean? I did at first, and then I remember I didn't have cable at the time, and he would do these things on PBS. Like PBS would air his seminars, and uh, and I would listen to them, and man, they made a lot of sense. You know, a lot of sense. But um, the only thing that turned me off to the guy was, he was making all this sense, and he was talking a lot about the power of intention, and just just doing things out of love. Everything you do is completely out of love, and when you do this, you get back this, and blah blah blah. And then my man was like selling DVDs and books, and DVDs of the same shit I just watched. You know what I'm saying? And he was selling these things for these ridiculously high prices, crazy high prices. And they were, I guess part of it was because they were going. Some of it was donations to PBS, but still, man, that's fucking. It seemed like an oxymoron to me, so I just didn't invest a lot in what he said. But he did make a lot of sense. Um, and there was one thing that he was talking about, which was uh, you carry around when you have things in your life that are making you just feel weighed down, you know, and and especially things from your past. It's like carrying around a big bag of garbage, you know, when all you have to do is just let it go. Just let go of it, because it's garbage. It's not doing you any good, but you're carrying it around. It's not. It's waste. It's nothing. It's stuff you've already used and gotten what you were gonna get out of it, and you're carrying it around. So, and all you have to do is just, like, let go of it. you know, and That shit makes tons of sense to me, man. It really is that easy. It really is that easy. So I think it's logical, man, to based on the way you described her, to just sit down and talk with her, and be like, you know, if you're happy, then okay, that's great. But I'm sorry, I'm unhappy, and it's not fair that one of us gets to stay happy. You know, so we got to figure out a way for us both to be happy here. I don't think that's an unreasonable way to approach the situation, my man. Like, seriously. So, anyway, that's really all I have to say on the subject. I appreciate your email. So, if anybody else listened to this and you want to have the perspective of someone like me, go ahead and email me at theglarer360 at gmail.com, and you know we'll 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 chat, man. We'll chat. Uh, so John, I really hope things work out for you, dude. And once you do decide what you're gonna do, I would love a follow up email. All right, I'd love to know how this all worked out for you. So anyway, guys, uh, like I said at the beginning, I think this is gonna be a short one tonight. Um, so I'm really glad the few of you logged on. And again, uh, if you're listening to this later, go ahead and email me theglarer360 at gmail.com. You can join our group, which is also called The Glarer, and has the same background here that I use here, so it shouldn't be difficult to spot. And we accept everybody. And I really hope to see it. I love when people send requests and we get new members. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, um, I'm gonna try to find a movie to watch. I'm gonna chill, and then this weekend I'm gonna start working on this uh, this case that I was telling you about. So for all of you true crime enthusiasts, you guys like this channel too. You're gonna get uh, a lot of both. So you're in for a real treat. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for logging on, and I will see you guys next time.